not the other day. I asked one of them here, I don't mention. I thought Senator Kajwang, in my first year as a governor, forwarded your name to CPAC.
I think, Governor, for guidance, Senator Kajwang is not the governor of Samburu. You are the CEO of Samburu. We can only make recommendations. It is for you to take administrative action on your staff. In fact, even ISPAC cannot sack your staff. No other body can. It's your county public service board.
Not the sacking, Senator.
And you as a governor.
I thought when you forwarded, because you're the one who pronounced that you are forwarding this person and this person, I thought there will not be accountants.
It does not take away your responsibility as chief
I'm not saying
executive
that,
officer.
but I think they should not have been accountants anymore. The point I'm trying to make is that we have highly qualified staff. There is no question about that. They have everything accounting.
I think let's look at that. Could you, Governor, just to guide you to come to the circle?
To the numbers.
Come to the circle. Yeah.
The reason why I was asking that we go back, I said on record, I find this meeting more productive than what I thought, because we are looking at things post-audit and how to correct them. And I think that's what we all want for our people. So, sitting here, and I said I'm not an accountant, one record is saying that we have 0 deductions, if I understood very well. We have 0 balances. There's another conflicting that is saying we have about 16 because 10 is paid. But it is also in the record that 5 million is currently sitting at the control of budget to pay the remaining 16 million. So that will leave us with about 11. Senator, in all honesty, in my opinion, I want to agree with you 100%. This is not something that should be staying in our book. If it is true that we have 0 balance, then I'm happy, as recorded in that document. If we still have a pending 11 million, I want to give you the assurance that that's one thing that I will not want to see again. As you said, we'll go back and pay that money. As to why it has remained unpaid, if it is true. Because now I have conflicting records. One is saying we have 0.
The other one is saying we have 11. If you take away the 5 million, then we'll pay. Senator, take that assurance from us.
Now, we will make appropriate recommendations, but I must express the concern of this committee around your bookkeeping practices, the accuracy of your records, your non-cooperation with the Office of the Auditor General, and therefore, on the face of it, it is our view that this amount of money listed as trade payables is not justifiable because the Auditor General has not given us that assurance, but we shall go to the law and propose appropriate consequences. Senator Sifuna, you could go on record.
Thank you, Chair, Governor, and the team from Samburu. My name is Edwin Sifuna, Senator Nairobi. I'm a member of this committee. Chair, apologies that I came late, but it's good to see my friend, Governor of Samburu in Nairobi. Karibu Nairobi.
Chair.
Why do you have to respond to a welcome?
No, I want also to welcome him because, Chair, apart from being a governor, and apart from Senator Sifuna being a senator, and apart from my good friend being a senator, we are human beings. We are Kenyans. We will be in this country for the rest of our lives.
I don't know where you're heading to, but I said at the beginning of this meeting, I made it clear that we are not going to introduce extraneous issues.
I have done some mistakes, and I'm remorseful of the mistakes that I've done. But I think Sifuna and my good friend Senator also did some mistakes. And so that we can always be friends here in this committee and continue, I want to tell you my story on that material day. Without, just so that we can remain friends.
Governor,
please allow me.
Order.
Say, let us reconfine.
Order, Senator Charagai, order, Governor. Governor,
out of what I'm saying, you said we confine our matters.
We have had many steps of discussions and conversations, including conversations between the Council of Governors and the leadership of the Senate, where the 2 members sit, is the Deputy Whip of Minority, is the Deputy Leader of Minority. I don't want us in this public space to start narrating all the events that have happened, because it's going to invite questions, interjections, and we might be derailed. And that's why I said at the beginning, let's stick to the numbers. I said at the beginning, when we gave orders to the Inspector General of Police, we wanted you to either come or be produced to do what we are doing. So let's do what we are doing. And finally, we are all leaders in this country, and it would be best if we were friends, but we don't have to be friends. We just need to love the people that we serve. So, Governor, let's go back to the numbers. Let's go back to the numbers. Let's go to deposits.
Chair, as we go back to those numbers, and really we should just go back to those numbers. Governor, we are very focused people on the things that we do. Nothing personal, absolutely nothing personal. And because we agreed from the beginning that we will not bring those issues here, let me pray that we don't. If there is need for yourself, the governor of Nairobi, who has graciously welcomed you to the city, and myself, to have a conversation around those issues that you think we should have, I have no problem with that. I can actually even buy a cup of tea as we talk about whatever it is that needs to be done. But for now, let's stick to the numbers.
I find it better if you do it in, this thing happened in the full view
What we say, we stick
of
to
the
them.
Kenyan people and all cameras. I have nothing wrong. I have
Okay.
nothing against you. I am not bitter. But I want to tell a story of that day so we can all feel who was wrong.
There are always different sides to a story, your side, my side, and the truth. So,
if the governor will tell us a story about that day, he should tell us why he organized demonstrations against the Senate in Samburu.
order, Senator.
So if you want to reopen,
order.
allow us to
Those are
reopen
the extraneous issues that I don't want.
Then look, let us
Because you
contain
see,
ourselves to the
we
matters
wouldn't
that
have found out the fraud in pending bills
Yes.
if we started with extraneous
Let us
issues.
confine ourselves to the matters.
Sure,
Yes.
just 1 minute.
Senator
I
Sifuna,
wanted to
briefly.
make a suggestion. Governor, you and I are national leaders. If your fear is that our tea will not receive national coverage, I can assure you, we can invite the media and they will come there. But what we want to focus on here now, or you can come with me to Thika on Sunday, the whole media will be there. But the point that I was making is, I agree with the chair, let's focus on those issues that the people of Samburu want. Senator Enoch Wambua happens to be a bishop. You can trust him. He can convene us for tea. The media are our friends. They will all come there. Then we tell the story of that day because I also have things to say. But not here.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that you're here purges the contempt. Let's go on and look at deposits and retentions. Auditor General.
Thank you, Chair. The question is on refundable deposits and prepayments.
Is it your finding?
Okay. The statement of financial position and note 33 of the financial statements reflect refundable deposits and prepayments balance of Kenya shillings 94,726,058 relating to the Samburu County deposit account. However, review of the bank reconciliation statements revealed that receipts in the cash book amounting to Kenya shillings 82,190,366 dated between June 2024 and May 2017 had not been deposited to the deposits accounts as they did not reflect in the bank statement. Further, the county executive had borrowed deposit and retentions funds totaling Kenya shillings 75,310,761 over the years, which had not been refunded or deposited to the deposits and retentions account. The borrowings were not supported by evidence of approval by the County Assembly, utilization details, and the specific budget lines funded, or reasons for the continued non-refund of the monies. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of the refundable deposits and prepayments balance of 94,726,058 could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may respond.
To my CC respond on my behalf on that.
Proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, the amount in question relates to a total Kenya shillings of 94,726,058 directly borrowed from the deposit account. The withdrawal had been made to cater for provisions of essential public goods and services at such times when the county faced cash flow challenges. The county government commits to make the refund in the next financial year. Attached is Annexure 2 is a schedule of the current status of the amount receivable.
Auditor General.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. the issue as is still outstanding because the refunds have not been done for the monies that have been borrowed.
Governor, if you were to go with your response, what is the legal basis for borrowing 94 million from the deposit account and not refunding it? What's the legal, what does the law require you, Governor? What does the law require of you? Because deposits and retentions are monies owed to suppliers for work done pending the lapse of the defect liability. Is that the right interpretation for the accountants? These are money retained from contractors. So when you retain it and then you borrow it, you are stealing from contractors. And in any case, if there is a borrowing from that account, this is like the situation we found in Vihiga, where they took money from the deposits account, gave it to the county assembly for a housewarming, but there was some correspondence. There was some letters justifying that decision. So that's why I'm asking, on what basis was 94 million due to contractors diverted for other purposes? Let's start from there. Is there any justification in our records before we call it theft of 94 million?
I think it's borrowing, Chair.
Well, it's a diversion. So there's a procedure in law to justify that. Any evidence that that procedure was adhered to?
I want to make it clear, Senator, that we are allowed to borrow from accounts.
Yes, there is a procedure.
So that is within the law.
And that procedure is documented.
That is recorded.
Yes. Is there a record of compliance with that procedure?
I want to allow me to ask my accountant to respond to this, because one thing that I know,
he does not need to explain to us the procedure. He just needs to give us evidence of compliance.
I also want to say that part of this 94 was way before I became the governor. Part of it is when I'm the governor. So you
have continued the bad habit of the past.
Borrowing is allowed. It's not a bad habit.
There is a procedure. There is a procedure. So can you give us evidence of compliance with that procedure?
As the officer prepares to respond, we just want him to be straight to the point, because the queries from the Auditor General want you to show evidence of approval by the County Assembly. Whether it is there or not, we just move very quickly. And then your response, Governor, you are just saying it was meant to cater for provision of essential public goods and services. And you will see the auditor is saying that there was no evidence of the specific budget lines funded or the reasons of the continued non-refund of the money. So those three things, just tell us, is there evidence of approval of the County Assembly, the specific budget lines that were funded, and then lastly, why that money has not been refunded years down the line.
Yeah, you have the floor. Please be precise.
Thanks, Chair. First of all, the 94 million is a total of the retention funds that have been borrowed by the executive over time, over a period of since 2017 to date. We keep the records. Number two, there have been no approval. We know that we're supposed to go through the Assembly for approval of such borrowings, but we have never done that.
Okay, so guilty as charged. Out of the 94 million, how much has been borrowed in the last 1 or 2 years? Because it's easy to say it was done in the past, but maybe in the past it was 1 million and in your time it was 93 million.
Okay, as per my financials, that is on page 39, and 1 year is 50 million. 204, 811,000.
So you borrowed just in that financial year 50 million from deposits account?
Yes.
Without following the procedure prescribed in law?
Don't know.
No, I mean, there's no one else who assist you. You just said it earlier, that there's no evidence of approvals. You never did that.
It is true that we don't have evidence in approval from County Assembly.
Then that is theft.
What happens when the defect liability period ends
and the contractors are supposed to be paid. What happens?
Luckily for the deposit account, it is always liquid. There's always, because we are in operations, we pay new suppliers who are deducted new.
No, that's a Juakali way of doing things. National Treasury.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable members, the situation that is being painted here is, a very serious situation that demonstrates financial indiscipline, whereby money belonging to third parties are being utilized to finance the services of the government of Samburu. And this one now is eroding the public trust because they were supposed to have that money. They owned it so that when the owner of the money comes for the money, that it should not be given any excuses. As the Honorable Senator has asked, when the defect liability period is over, and that contractor or the owner will come asking for the money. And you have actually put before this committee that even some are for as long as 2017, the defect liability most likely has already elapsed and you have not paid that money. It shows a serious lack of financial discipline in that county. And you may finally not be able to pay that money when the rightful owners will come for that money. Thank you.
Governor, if there is a
Procedure defined in law, and that procedure gives responsibility to certain people within your organization, why would you come here and listen to the excuses that we are being given? Because initially, the auditor queried 75 million. In your response, you have clarified that it is not even 75, it is 94 million borrowed over the years. Over the years, only 2.8 million was borrowed before your time. Only 3%. The remaining 97% has been raiding the deposits account during your tenure as governor.
financial statements, there cannot be a different account. I'm looking at note 33, which the officer has referred to, and conjoining it with your response. In your response, you have said, Chair, the amount in question relates to a total of 94.7 million directly borrowed from the deposit account. And a breakdown of that 94 million indicates that only 2.8 million was borrowed 3 years ago. The remaining 92 million was borrowed during your tenure. So this is not a matter where we start passing the buck. Governor, 92 million has been raided from the retention account during your tenure as governor without following the provisions of the law.
Sure, I give you the information that I'm given by the officers in the finance department. According to them, how much was borrowed this time, 50, or the other one, 44. That's what they're telling me.
The information is here. Fortunately, we don't have to fish for it. It's here. And it's been aged very nicely.
I'll let them clarify that.
Yeah, so perhaps
this is
so
what
that
I want to say.
So perhaps so that we follow what you want to say, let them refer us to a document, because the chairman is referring to the financial statements of Samburu County for the year 2024-2025. That's where the page we are at, Governor. So if there's a different document to aid the conversation, let them also point it to us.
I will let them look for that document. But this is what I want to say, and they must look for that document. Share, if the law, and I'm not a lawyer also, I said I was not an accountant, I'm not a lawyer also. If the law prescribes that borrowing is allowed, number one, so there's nothing illegal about that. If the law also prescribes that borrowing has to go through the county assembly, and it didn't went through the county assembly, somebody is culpable. And that one does not require me as a governor We have everybody sitting here, including ACC. If something was done wrong in that direction, I think I can do administrative action, but something else can also be done. On the borrowing issue, I want to make it clear. It's on record, it will be paid. That cannot be theft. If somebody wants to steal, he cannot record. So if it's recorded, I want to assure you that we will pay the deposit account as we borrow. And that one.
But Governor, if you go back to the English definition of theft, it is depriving somebody of their benefit. You are depriving contractors of their benefit. That is theft. Reallocation of budgets without approval, due process is theft. If President William Ruto was today reallocate money meant for agriculture to State House operations, Sifuna will call it theft. And that is what we have here.
And Chair, you know, Governor, these things only come out after the Office of the Auditor General has produced its report. You are saying that if it is recorded, it means it cannot be stolen. What if the Office of the Auditor General did not pick this thing and the Senate did not cover it?
I also want to give you give us some little credit because they only recorded 75 million. We are reporting 94, so we are better than them.
No, you are making it worse. That the theft is bigger.
In the reporting aspect, not in the magnitude. I'm answering Senator Sifuna's question that we are not hiding anything. We actually even telling the auditors.
No. As a chair, let me tell you, it does not give us comfort. It gives us great discomfort. Let's allow Senator Izena to go on record, then Senator Chirarge can ask his question.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning, everyone, Your Excellency and team. I'm Senator Izena Lemalitian from Samburu County and a friend of the committee. Thank you.
You're welcome, Senator Chirarge.
Chair, just I've heard Governor saying that much of the money is reserved, but looking at the note number 33 on refundable depositors of payment, between 1 to 3 years, the Governor, under the borrowing that you did, is over 94%. Out of 94,726,058, only 2,841,788 was, let's assume, done 3 years before. So, Governor, you need to ensure, or the people who did the reporting through financial statement, that it is not correct. The only time that was over 3 years when you are not in office was 2.8 million. But over 94% of 94 million was done under your tenure. So that will be my question number one. Question number two, which is simple, who authorized this borrowing? If you answer that, the matter rests there. Who authorized? We want to see.
I think for the benefit of time, those two questions have been asked. Who authorized? They have admitted there was no authorization, unless you have made up another story. And if your story changes, mtakula kiapo. They have already said there was no approval. I mean, this is black and white.
And Chair, that is theft.
Yeah, that is what it is.
But on the matter of State House, no one wants to reallocate money to State House from agriculture. I wondered, you know, Sifuna might go and talk about it in Thika on Sunday. So you need to be careful. You can pick it from the committee.
Oh, okay, let's leave that. But I was just using that to demonstrate how obscene it would sound if the national government would reallocate money meant for fertilizer to arbitrarily to do what? To empowerment. Because you have been in parliament and you know what the role of supplementary is. You cannot be doing things beyond what the law prescribes. Governor, for me, there's one thing that I'm happy about, that today we are agreeing that we need to look at the substantive matters. The only part that I'm still worried about is that you're not expressing outrage at the offenses being committed by your officers. You are not outraged. We want other people to fix the problem, ESCC to fix the problem, ISPAC to fix the problem. Ultimately, as a CEO, you must take responsibility. Now, the facts have been established. They are borrowing from deposits without approval. We shall call it theft, reallocation, whatever it is. There are consequences in law. Members, is there any other matter that you want to raise on this beyond what has been established?
Perhaps, Governor, I think it's important that we get a commitment from you on what strategy, now that the law has been breached, but that money still must be paid because contractors will come. What is your plan to repay that money back to the deposits account so that contractors can get their pay when the liability period lapses? What is the plan?
From my understanding, we've already budgeted some of it, but Senator, I think the accountant said something about our liquidity in terms of the deposits account. As a county, we are allowed to borrow through the law. We have not had a problem in the deposits account. But I want to give you an assurance that even with that liquidity in the deposit account, now that we owe the deposit account this much, I'll make sure that some is budgeted this year and some will be budgeted in the next year. It is very hard for a county like Samburu to take out 94 million in 1 year. That's our entire bursary program. So since you've already borrowed and borrowing is allowed, we will pay some this year, some next year, and I want to ask my officers to note that, so that we go back to zero, then we start borrowing maybe again, because it's allowed.
No, that cannot, Governor, we cannot accept that as a committee. We cannot advise you to do that. If you are borrowing, it must go through the procedures prescribed in law, but those procedures must mean the assembly must be involved. But there is a specific reason why deposits and retentions account is established. It is to ring-fence the resources. You cannot tell us that you'll continue doing the bad habits because there's a window that is available to you. That cannot be the advice from the Senate. Finally, Senator.
Chair, finally, Governor, when you have referred us to Annexure 2, my expectation would be that Annexure 2, because I've heard you making reference to budget, do you have any extract of budget so that this committee can satisfy itself that you have actually budgeted to refund this money? I was expecting something like, what do they call that thing with the pending bills?
A payment plan?
Payment plan or schedule. Like you should be able to satisfy us that you will be clearing this amount in the next
on the budgeting, our budget at the moment is still going through public participation, so it's not a budget. It will go to the assembly.
There is no.
Can I finish? Even in the draft budget of today, we have 30 million budgeted to pay this.
So you have an extract of any of that because
that
we are
draft budget
committee of records. An extract.
Will it be an official to place something that's still going through public?
So you just want us to take your word? That's what you're saying?
Yeah, not just my word. We'll pass a budget at the end of this month. I can send you the real budget, because now we just have a draft budget with 32 million to pay this part of this loan.
I think that's mitigation. Let's deal with the legality. That is where we shall give very strong recommendations on the matter. But I think this practice must stop, and how I wish the Assembly was here so that they can understand that the executive is usurping their role in budgeting and reallocation of budgets. Now, looking at the time, we will skip a few of the other issues and go straight to the query on medical insurance. If there will be substantive issues that we'll not be able to deal with today, I think the mood of this meeting indicates that we might need to have another sitting, because we can clearly see that there was some lack of coordination and preparation on the part of the entity. Finance officers coming to the Senate without financial statements, I think that tells a story of unpreparedness. Auditor General?
Maybe before you go to that one, I think it should really be clear what we expect, and I think the governor needs to give us his ears, because he's saying that he will borrow because it is allowed. Borrowing is allowed from different votes, but I think, Governor, you should regularize in a supplementary budget within the same financial year. not for regularizing in other financial years. So if you borrow, make sure that you regularize through a supplementary budget in the same financial year.
Yeah, I think that has been said. We have agreed that everything must be done in accordance with the law, and the governor has no other option but to comply with the law. It is an offense under the Act, it is an offense under regulations, and we shall also be recommending action to be taken in line with the offenses defined in the Act. So let's not reopen it, because we have established the facts, we have established there was an illegality. The governor has tried to explain the mitigation, but we will pronounce ourselves on the illegality. Medical Insurance Auditor General, please read your findings.
Okay, thank you, Chair. Medical insurance. The statement of financial performance and Note 10 to the financial statements reflect use of goods and services totaling Kenya shillings 1,782,133,252, which includes insurance cost of Kenya shillings 23,292,664, meant for various insurance covers. Further, Note 30A to the financial statements reflects prepayments on medical insurance of Kenya shillings 137,771,033. However, the medical insurance contracts cover payments for the previous financial year, the details of the persons covered under the scheme, details of payments made to Social Health Authority in respect of medical cover were not provided for audit review. In the circumstances, the accuracy and completeness of Kenya shillings 23,292,664 on insurance could not be confirmed. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, you may respond.
Thank you, Chair. Chair, I wish to clarify the two medical insurance costs reported in the financial year is as follows. Kenya shillings 137,771,033 relates to annual staff medical cover with Scotland Insurance Brokers as provided in Annex Chair 7 is the insurance contract for staff medical scheme with Scotland Brokers and payroll by product to support payment made to SHA.
So your Auditor General, 137 million, does that relate to SHA?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The 137 million is not relating to SHA. It is relating to the Scoreline Insurance Brokers, payment done to the Scoreline Insurance Brokers. The agreement has been submitted to us. It was signed on 24th of June 2025, while the one that has not been submitted to us is the one on Kenya shillings 23,292,664. Thank you, Chair.
Now, let's be clear, because your finding is confusing. Scoreline is a broker, and who's the underwriter? Who's the underwriter on that medical scheme? It's your question, Governor.
Britam are the insurers.
It is Britam.
Yes.
So what's the reference to SHA here? How does SHA come in here, in this query?
They are querying the 23 million. They wanted us to show the byproduct.
Auditor General, have you looked at Annex 7? Because you can't have a policy document without the details of persons covered and the details of the limits.
Yes, Chair. What we have is the extract of the contract agreement for the provision of medical insurance cover by the broker. So what we don't have only is the listing of all the staff. But when you read through the
Auditor General.
Yes.
137 million has been spent by Samburu. Can you give us assurance that 137 million...
Be the full document, Honorable Governor. This is 7 pages. I've seen contracts for Mandazi that are longer than this.
I think, thank you, Chair, through the Chair. I think the question was the 23 by product. The 137 was to provide evidence that actually there was a contract between us and the insurer. So now the question, I think, was on the 23 million.
So for 137 million,
Yes.
how many people are you covering?
3,400 staff.
Is it there in the contract or whatever you have attached?
I mean,
This is why we'll put you on oath, because you're providing very material information that is not in the records before us.
yeah, allow us to provide the byproduct for 137. It's just that it was not the
that
audit.
was the auditor's
The query
question.
was not 137, Chair. It was the 23 for SHA.
Well, it depends on how you look at it. When I look at this question,
There are two numbers queried, 137 and there's 23. We must get assurance that those numbers relate to actual service or an actual medical cover that went to the staff. Because the other question would be, you have Britam, you have Scoline. What is the role of Scoline in that? To earn a commission? Or what service is it that they offer that Britam cannot offer directly?
I think it was how it was tendered. They just won the brokerage and Britam are the underwriters.
And so what is the commission rate on this?
We don't pay the commission ourselves. We don't.
No, it is in the contract. It must be in the contract.
Maybe between Britam and Scoline.
Yes, that commission usually comes back to employees of the county.
Not that we are, it's not in our agreement.
So can we see the policy document? Because the policy document will capture the premium, will capture the commission paid, and everything, including the number of employees that are covered for the 137.
Okay, if you allow us, because all we have is the contract, we just read the as per the question, but if you allow us, we can provide.
Chair.
Senator Maruma.
Chair, my question would be to the auditor, because if I look at the question you're asking, you're saying, however, the medical insurance contracts cover payments for the previous financial year, the details of the persons covered under the scheme, details of payments made to SHA in respect to medical cover not provided for review. Why are you requesting for the previous year's documents, not for this year under review? Were the ones for this year under review provided, and you're looking for the other ones? Is it for comparison, or why are you asking for them?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The payment done to Scoline was a prepayment of medical insurance cost. So the question on the previous financial year was on how the staff were covered in the previous financial year, if this is a prepayment to the upcoming year.
Now, again, to understand this, so you've got Scoline and Britam providing comprehensive medical, then you still have 23 million paid to SHA. What's the difference between the two covers, assuming they are for the same financial year?
Okay, for SHA, we usually pay as a statutory deduction, and it was not captured as the insurance, so we had captured it as a statutory deduction. So we needed to provide the biodata for amounting to the 23 that was catered for and the contract that was needed at that particular time.
Has that been provided?
Yes, at Annex
Auditor General?
What has been provided is the pie products for SHA, and also...
How many employees are covered under SHA?
For SHA, what was let me confirm in the annexures.
Governor, how many employees are covered under SHA now that you're saying you've provided the details? Because you couldn't tell us how many are covered under Britam. This one for SHA, perhaps you might have an answer.
Because she said 3,000 are covered under Britam.
No, she requested for time to confirm. Under SHA, how many are covered?
SHA, when we get these audit queries, I want some clarification because we narrow down to what is being queried so we can respond here.
You see, Governor, just to guide you, if the requested documentation was provided, it would have been very easy to establish how many are covered, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's what I'm asking.
Yes. But I'm just saying, from my own reading of this query from the auditors, and I want the auditors to listen to me, what they are querying is the 23 million from SHA, nothing else, unless I...
No, Governor, we are on SHA. We are on 23 million, and that's why I'm asking how many employees are covered, because they're using terms like byproducts. So those byproducts, where is that evidence? Remember, we have come from a query where statutory deductions are not being remitted. So we just want to know, this 23 million, is it for everyone? Are they the contributions for all the staff, or there are some that were withheld sitting in the pending bills register?
It's the total contribution for all staff, and total staff are 3,400.
So this 23 is for 3,400?
Yeah.
Any schedule, any document in our possession or the Auditor General's possession to confirm that?
And maybe the question is, would the payroll by product suffice to answer the question for the 23 million? The payroll by product that the county government is saying has provided in Annex 7. Would it suffice to answer that question?
Governor? Maybe from the auditor first. Auditor, you have interacted with the records. Can you help us, because we want to move fast on this, can you help us to understand whether 23 million is what was deducted from staff for SHA and whether it was paid, and all staff of Samburu are covered under SHA and their contributions are accurate, up to date?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We've interrogated our records. I hereby submit that the insurance cost details for the Kenya shillings 23 million have not been provided for our review.
Now, you see, that's why we are now fishing or walking, in the dark. If it was provided to the auditor, these questions would have been answered. I would not be asking you how many people. I would not be asking whether the deductions are timely. I think this is the third issue that we are getting a bit concerned about the laissez-faire responses. Senator Ezena?
Yes, Chair. I don't know. I think something is not clear about the Auditor General's statement, because in this document, I think on the same document that we have been reading, I don't know which document that is, on the medical insurance, he has indicated there, it is indicated that, however, the medical insurance contracts cover payments for the previous financial year. The details of the persons covered under the scheme, details of payments made to SHA in respect to medical cover were not provided for the audit of review. Can you specify specifically among the three which one is not provided? Is it the list from the previous or the current?
Auditor General?
Yeah, thank you, Chair. We had queried two figures. The first one is 23,292,664, whereby details have not been, the specific details has not been provided to us. The second figure was on the 137,771,033. The contract agreement has been provided to us. However, the listing of the staff is the one that has not been provided to us. Then thirdly, We had also asked about details of person, that is now on the details of the persons covered under the scheme. The third one is on details, the details of payments made to SHA, that is relating to the 23 million shillings. The details have not been, is the one that we are awaiting from the management. So on the issue of the previous, the cover payments for the previous financial year, is we wanted an assurance or satisfaction that staff of the county executive were covered in the previous year, because this is a prepayment, presumably for the next financial year.
So I'm asking you, Auditor.
Yes.
This payroll provided, the payroll by product, would it be adequate to answer for part of the documentation that you require to show that that money was paid, the 23 million was paid?
Chairman, we don't seem to have that.
Yes, Patrick, I think let's move very fast because at 2:30 we must go to the House.
Thank you, Chairman.
Records are either there or not.
Yes.
If they are not there, we ask them to provide them. If they are there and they are not adequate, we pronounce ourselves.
Chairman, if you look at Annex 7, except the contract extract that has been given, that period by product is what we also don't have. So we are not able to comment on that.
Governor, you must take administrative action internally because we should not waste time on this. Insurance, if you have covered your employees and there are 3,200, for example, it should be very easy to provide a listing that these are my employees under the Britam cover, these are my employees under SHA. Why would it be a matter that leads to contestation at the Senate? These are records that should be sitting with procurement. These are records that should be sitting with finance. I think we are misusing the time of the Senate, and we will not allow that. Let's go to, I think let's move on, because this matter, we will deliberate on it and give appropriate recommendations. I wanted us to quickly look at a few irregularities in human resource management. The matters we have skipped, we'll come back to them. And Governor, the human resources is a regulated profession. And the law requires the head of human resource to be a member of the Institute of Human Resource Managers. I don't know whether your head of Director of Human Resources is present. Director, fine. So, under your professional oversight, the Auditor General has raised 12 paragraphs, 12, under human resource. Non-compliance with the law on fiscal responsibility on wage bill, that I will take as a policy issue. We don't need to spend too much time. We hope that if the mediation committee agrees to 454 billion and Samburu gets probably 8 billion eventually, that these percentages will improve. So let's not spend too much time on that. What is very concerning is 1.2, Governor.
Because the division of revenue bill or the county revenue bill is not yet through, it is the people of Samburu would think that we have 8 million. I appreciate what the Senate is doing by asking 454 and the National Assembly 420. We appreciate what you're doing. Thank you so much. But it is not yet there. And if the Samburu people hear that we're going to get 8 billion, they will expect that 8 billion will come. And from my own experience in Parliament, these 420 and 454, most likely within mediation, some very little will change.
No, I think let's just have some faith, Governor. Governors were asking for 500 billion plus. Senators are pushing for 454. National Assembly is 420. Yeah. We have a responsibility as a Senate to tell the public what we are working towards. So don't pour cold water on it. You should also tell your people that you are asking for 500 billion, which would have given Samburu 10 billion. So allow us to gloat over the 8 billion, because it might come through this afternoon. Let's start with non-deduction and remittance of pay as you earn. Auditor General.
Yes, thank you, thank you, Chair. Non-deduction and non-remittance of pay as you earn. The review of the Integrated Payroll and Personnel Database, IPPD, for the period under review revealed that the county executive did not deduct pay as you earn of approximately Kenya shillings 2,707,946 from 47 employees, with no evidence provided to show that the county remitted the applicable taxes to the Kenya Revenue Authority. This was contrary to section 5 of the Income Tax Act, Cap 470, requiring that all income earned in Kenya to be subject to income tax. Thank you, Chair.
Governor, this should be a very direct answer.
It's very direct. The 47 employees were people living with disabilities, and they're exempted from pay as you are. Then there are two, I think 45, then two are interdicted employees.
Governor, because your answer is very brief, just read it just read it. I think it will flow better.
Chair, the 47 staff comprised of two main staff categories, those on interdiction and those living with disabilities. With regards to those on interdiction, two staff. The system cannot capture their pay as you earn, while PWD, 45 staff, the system could not capture, but they are exempted from paying pay as you earn.
Auditor General.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. The results and the documentation has now been provided by the management. During the time of audit, the information had not been provided on the 47 staff, but